Welcome you here to my weekly live stream. And as you are joining in, if you will let me know where you are joining in from, that would be great. Just drop us a note in the comments. Real quick, I'm going to check my tech here, and it looks like we are now fully connected on Facebook, on LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. So, real quick, just some housekeeping. If you're joining us from Facebook, go to streamyard.com/Facebook. Give Facebook and StreamYard permission to speak with each other. And when you do, that lets me see if you leave a comment who is commenting. Otherwise, it's just going to say Facebook user. So I always love to know who's there. If you've already done it on the device for which you're watching us, don't worry. You should be good to go and you won't need to do that again. So real quick though, if I am new to you and you are new to me, let's have some introductions. My name is Beverly Smith. I am the founder of Career Success Strategies. I'm also the former owner of a staffing and recruiting firm. So I know firsthand what hiring managers are looking for and use that knowledge to help mid, senior, and executive level professionals build their resumes, help them with their LinkedIn branding and their job search strategies, all so that they can land the career of their dreams. So last week, I gave you a little bit of my own personal perspective of the resume through the lens of someone who has been on the recruiting side as a former make sure that you go back and go to my YouTube channel so that you can see all our former episodes, and you can see that episode that we did last week. You'll need to click on at Beverly Smith Resumes is a YouTube channel, and I've got that down here on the screen for you. But click on the live tab, and all of my past videos you can find right there. So with that, I want to jump in and tell you a little bit about what you're in store for today. This week, I'm super excited to be joined by one of the ones who makes it happen behind the scenes here at Career Success Strategies, and that is Yuvika Iyer. She is an award-winning, multi-certified resume writer, and just so excited to have her with us. And we have a special topic that we're going to be bringing you today, and that is the role that the resume plays for those who are seeking board of director position. So let me introduce you real quick to Yuvika. She is a 5-time award-winning executive resume writer, career strategist, certified executive resume master. She's certified advanced resume writer, certified resume analysis, human resource consultant, and she is also a former recruiter. She knows how to create powerful resumes that help Fortune 500 executives, C-suite level, and senior professionals find their next role. And she leverages a 12-year global recruitment background across Canada, India, and the U.S. to spotlight unique facets of clients' resume or clients' careers and produce a bespoke document that underscore their most notable accomplishments. Yuvika's specialties include executive resumes, C-suite resumes, board biographies, cover letters, value prop letters, LinkedIn profiles for senior level executives and board candidates across diverse industries. Yuvika was recently recognized for her talent with 5 Tory Awards in 2021 and 2023, including Best Executive Resume, which she received second place for in 2021, and a top 5 nomination in 2023 for the same category. Member of Career Directors International. As a veteran HR consultant with 16 plus years of experience, she has consulted for Fortune 500 brands, including Trackstar Hire, Right, and Influitive. Yuvika, welcome. I'm so excited that you are here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Beverly. It's great to be here.
Yes, and I'm so excited for the world to meet the rest of the team. So you are just a crucial piece to career success strategies, and just so happy that you are working with us. Um, so let's dive in because we've got a lot of ground to cover. I would like for you to tell us a little bit about what you think the key components of an effective board resume, or excuse me, effective board value proposition is on a resume.
Yeah, I think most of us know about executive profiles, right? Landing executive roles, but I think at this level, at the C-suite level, at the senior level, executives can definitely benefit from being a member of the board, right? Even if you are a busy executive, it's worth taking out the time to be involved in either in your own company at this level, at the board level, or probably go ahead and land other roles, board roles at other corporate boards in a different field altogether, or even within a non-profit if that's what you prefer or want to start with, right, in this field.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think at this level it's really really desired because getting a board position is basically evidence of your thought leadership. It lets the world know that you have that level of industry knowledge, experience, competencies available to go ahead and advise other roles and other businesses on how to proceed, right? It's a great professional development step. It's a great move for building your personal brand if you are looking to do that, right?
Yeah.
And also increases your perceived value to not only your own firm, but also to the industry and also those seeking to hire you in the future, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
really establishes your influence in not only your own organization, but also in others, and
Right.
definitely influences, any future job search that you may have. For example, you may be really, really happy with the role you have right now, but then, who knows about the future? Probably you are looking at a progressively higher level, down the line, let's say 2 years or 5 years from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just if you talk about the positioning for a board role, I think there's one key thing here that's very essential to understand, that any document that is created, whether any career marketing document that we create, it's typically created for a purpose, and it's supposed to be tailored for the audience. So if you're looking at getting an executive role with another firm, with another organization, the purpose, the approach, the value proposition that we will position will be very different from what uh, the typical approach is for a board profile, right? For a
Mm-hmm.
board role. And while the entire process itself may be the same in terms of the time, in terms of how you move about in the process with us, I think the approach is very, very customized
Uh-huh.
based on the level of the position that you're looking for, and also with respect to the audience that you are applying for, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that kind of leads me into our next question is I would like for you to talk a little bit about how the language is different on, say, a traditional executive or C-suite resume versus a board resume. So what do you do differently there?
Yeah, I think the first thing what we definitely do differently is the entire positioning is different, right? Like we say an apples to oranges comparison, right? So the executive resume writing, and it's entirely a different process from creating a board resume, right? So the
Mhm,
first thing that we do is entirely build on your unique value proposition as to how you can fill a gap in the board. So typically a board has around an average of, let's say, 5 to 15 or even 20 uh, members, right? So if the organization is looking to bring on a new board of director member, a board member in the board, what they typically do is they do have the specific competencies they require, right? So we need to match those competencies that the board requires with the strengths that you have as an executive, right? So the bio is basically your the board documents that we create, the entire package. It includes a couple of documents, right? So it includes your bio. So there's a specific board bio that's more like a trailer that gives like an introduction of what you've done across your career and the value proposition that you bring to a board, right? And that's followed up by a board resume that's a more in-depth overview of all the things that you've done, and that's customized to the board position that you are looking at, right?
Mhm.
And we also make sure that the LinkedIn profile that you have currently is customized and aligned with the board pitch that you're making, right? Because we don't want any recruiter or any, a board level headhunter coming back and saying that, the bio or the resume doesn't really match the LinkedIn, right? So
Mhm.
needs all the documents that we create need to be very, very aligned, right? And all of them uniquely need to showcase your unique value proposition that you bring to a board, right?
Absolutely.
And the branding consistency, of course, Beverly, that needs to be aligned as well,
Mhm.
right? And
Definitely.
since you mentioned language, I think one key thing is the words, the phrases, the language that we use for a executive resume is very different from what we typically do for a board resume, right? So for example, while an executive resume may start with, let's say, a resume headline, a summary, core skills, and the key work experience section, a board resume typically starts with a headline followed by a board value proposition and then an impact statement, and then it further goes down into the board specific competencies you have, followed by the professional experience. And of course, we try to include a larger thought leadership section that includes the speaking engagements you've had, and any kind of volunteer community,
Mhm.
contributions you've had, not only at your own organization but outside it. And you mentioned language, right, Beverly? I think one of the key things that we also take care is to uh, make sure that while an executive resume is more focused on operational, right, it's more
Mhm.
the what you've done, right? A board resume is typically focused on the guidance that you've given, right? So
Mm.
for example, if you use a word, let's say managed for an executive resume, for a board we'll use guided, influenced,
Mhm.
aligned. It's more the guided kind of language that leans towards
Right.
that rather than the doing part of it,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yes. It's a subtle difference, but I think it's the right difference to really um, address what someone would be looking for in a board member, and just, if you're wanting to
Yeah.
make sure you're getting the right match. And I apologize. It looks like we had a little bit of tech issues here, freezing up, but hopefully y'all are getting this. Just want to just double check and see if we have any questions. I don't see anything so far. Um, I do want to ask you, talk about some of the visual and structural differences between the board resume and the executive resume.
Yeah. So I think a visual impact is key here, right? So I think how we typically structure a board document, with whether it's a bio, whether it's the resume, I think what we focus on is basically highlighting your board level competencies rather than just the things that you've done throughout your career, right? Of course, achievements are important, but then we highlight the key achievements and the competencies very, very focused and customized to the specific board role that you are targeting. So I think
Mhm.
that's the first thing that we take care of. And the second thing is, I think in terms of the visual appeal, we make sure that the white space is important, because we don't really want uh, things jumbled up, and we don't want things that are not really relevant to the current role on offer coming into the resume, right? It needs to be very relevant, it needs to be very contextually right. And of course we need to use color very sparingly. It can't be just too much of color, and design needs to be more professional, sophisticated at that level, right?
Mhm.
And in terms of another key thing that we notice is, for a board profile, whether it's the bio or the resume, we definitely tend to use a more visual appeal, to make the documents more visually appealing, by including any kind of tables or text boxes or anything. Because of course at that level, at the board level, the ATS is not important at all, right? We don't really need to consider the ATS,
Right.
just getting that out of the way. Because for executive resumes, of course, everybody's heard of how the applicant tracking software comes into play. And right, you must have heard of how yes, you need to impress the recruiter within 6 seconds and all. So I think the
Mhm.
ATS part can just go out of the window. So we can work and play on making the board resume more visually appealing, while maintaining the
Right.
sophistication and at that what a CC executive entails for. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I like that. Tell me a little bit. Let's talk about how an executive can demonstrate that they do possess the key competencies that they need for a board role.
Yeah, I think even before looking at what the executives must do, I think we probably should take a minute to understand what boards need, right? What are their preferences and what are they looking for, right? So if you look at the board side, they all have an obligation to serve as an ambassador for the organization that they are supporting, right? They need to educate the community about what they're doing, right? And if you look and think from a board point of view, all of them face the same key challenges, right? They're looking at rapidly changing technology, a lot of market competition, regulatory restrictions, right? And of course limited resources, and finding the good people and making sure the businesses run the way they are supposed to, right? At the same time, I think a board uh, at a C-suite executive needs to understand what the board needs, you know, and the challenges that they are facing, and then uh, identify and highlight those specific competencies that will help the board meet those challenges. So it's basically bridging. I think that's what we do best, right, Beverly? It's
Mhm.
bridging what the boards need with the competencies that the C-suite executives bring around about, right? So I think that's the key thing that we focus on, and that is what we do by making sure that the unique value proposition comes through, right? Because most of the boards, if you see, they really have a financial return that they need to give to shareholders back, right? So they do seek board members with specific expertise in running a business, starting a business, and growing successful businesses, right? So expertise is required in specific areas of operations, right? They prefer board members having specific areas of expertise. So for example, it could be mergers and acquisition, if you have expertise in that, leading reorganizations, change management, turnarounds. So I think that's a couple of key things. And also if you look at the kind of competencies that are important, the both specific skills could be corporate strategy, fundraising, seed round, series
Mhm.
A, B, or C level fundraising, digital transformation, risk management, financial leadership, go to market strategy, for organizations who are looking to build businesses or start or grow or even expand, right? And of
Mhm.
course DEI is key today, diversity, equity, inclusion, and that typically starts at the top, right? So as a board member, if you do have expertise in these key areas, like
Mhm.
corporate governance, ESG, environmental social governance, or sustainability expertise, right? So it all percolates down, right? So we focus on making sure that all the key uh, both specific skills are highlighted, right? So if you have a bunch of skills there in, like in the list that I just said, we will make sure that all of those are highlighted with specific examples or accomplishments of what you've done in those specific areas, rather than just you know writing whatever you've done across your career, right? So it needs to be very, very customized.
Right, right. I totally agree. So I you alluded to this a little bit earlier on, but I would like for you to discuss the differences between a nonprofit and a for-profit board and how that will affect the writing of the resume when applying for those positions.
Yeah, so if we you know the moment we hear the word board member, right? So I think the first thing to understand is there is an overarching difference between a corporate organization and a not-profit organization, right? Because for a for-profit corporation, it's owned by stockholders, right? It's owned by shareholders. The focus there, is on generating money for the owners and the profitability that they have of the organization, right? While non-profit organizations, on the other hand, the public is the stakeholder there, and the focus there is on serving the public, and they measure their needs by how well they are adapting to the needs of the public, right? So whether the board is overseeing a Fortune 500 company or it's just another type of for-profit company, there are a bit of similarities in both styles, but then there are also a lot of differences there, right? So every board typically has articles of incorporation and governing principles that outlines the key responsibilities that a board of director level members are supposed to have, right? So that typically both of them, the similarities include that they have a responsibility to you know uh, to the organization, they have a responsibility to the stakeholders, right? So it's very essential to understand the level and the kind of organization that that the role is in, right? And that basically helps us to make sure that the documents we prepare are very tailored to the specific role, considering the background of the organization.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I think that's really, really important. So I want to ask you, and I love your knowledge and your background on the in this area. I think it's so important that we are like a resource for so many of the people we work with. I think I might have frozen for just a second. So talk a little bit about strategies that can be implemented by someone who is looking to secure a board role.
Yeah, so I think before going ahead and applying, I think it's very important to understand the selection process that typically boards have, right? So if you look at the for-profit board searches, they are typically conducted by executive search firms, and the nominating and the governance committee that the board has, they work with the recruitment organization to share their needs and then identify the board candidates, right? And then the entire process of selection itself is done by uh, could be done by the entire board members and also the company CEO, right?
Mm,
So, and if you look at the competition level, it's extremely fierce, right? If you compare a typical executive role with a board role, right? So, and since for-profit companies have an obligation to deliver a financial return, they seek board members, with experience in starting, running, and growing successful businesses,
mm,
right? So we need to highlight that, and then it's also beneficial to read the documents that the organization have. Could be their annual proxy statement, it could be their the corporate reports that they have, because that highlights the wide range of skills that they're looking for, and it pays to just be in tune with that, and then we can go ahead, reverse engineer those in the documents that we are preparing, right?
mm,
So I think that definitely helps. And in terms of the roles, it definitely helps if you are walking around and uh, just letting your network and your the entire peer network that you have know that you are actually looking out for a role, because that definitely helps, right? Because both positions are typically not advertised. They are either filled by referrals, or they are given to executive search firms. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great piece of advice there. So as we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to add or anything you feel like we missed? Or anything? Or did we hit it
uh,
all?
yeah, mostly we did. And I think in terms of landing the first, if there's a senior leader looking for their first board seat, I think another great tip would be to make sure that you're networking with the right audience, right? You're
Mhm,
networking with the right industry group, attending conferences, not really within your own industry, but also within complementary industries, right, where you feel that you can actually contribute, right? And there are a lot of board training programs also out there. If you want to get some kind of a training program on your resume, or just understand how the entire field works, I think it really helps to network better, and then go ahead and attend those conferences,
mhm.
join industry groups, and let the word out that you're looking for a board seat. I think so many opportunities just land by, when you're just people are aware that you're looking for one. And if they
Mhm.
see a role, and they would definitely come back to you saying that, hey, I saw that, why would you like to go ahead and send in an application? So I think that really helps.
I agree. And you know me, I am a big proponent of networking. I think it is.
Uh-huh.
I think that we're getting signs it's time to wrap it up. But I was just saying that I think networking is a great way to open up all kinds of opportunities on just across the board, whether job
Absolutely.
opportunities, whether social opportunities, whether it board opportunities. And honestly, my two board positions that I have held in the past came as a result of networking myself, and like you said, just putting it out there and asking
Hmm.
questions. I was with nonprofit organizations, and so just inquiring and finding out what they were looking for, and kind of letting people know that I am available for that. And so I 100% agree with
Yeah.
you. So, with the purpose of us doing this today, as you well know, Yuvika, but for our audience, is to let y'all know that this is a service that we have recently added to our list of services over at Career Success Strategies. Mainly because of Yuvika's expertise in this area, and I'm just so thrilled to have you on board to do these things and to help our clients get what they need in order to successfully land a board role. And with that being said, let me just put up on the screen, if anyone would like to book a complimentary consultation with us, whether you're looking for a board resume or if you are seeking to up level your career and make a move to the next role that is out there for you, we are here to help you. We have a complimentary consultation that you can book with me, and I've got the link up there for you. And I'll tell you what, I will also see if I can grab that right here. A couple of things that we do, and I know that Yuvika mentioned this, but we help with the profiles as well. Your profile that you would submit, your bio. With that, we can help you with your LinkedIn page to make sure that everything is coherent or cohesive and branded, and all of there we're there for you. And hopefully this, let's see, there we go, it is in the comments, the link is, so if you want to grab that. And I just want to wish everyone, if you're in the US, a happy Independence Day tomorrow, and stay safe, enjoy fireworks if you get to watch them, and Next week, be sure to join us. We've got a special episode on salary negotiations coming your way. So I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thank you, Yuvika, and thank you everyone for joining us.